Good morning. We are live. Carlos Collects is my guest today for Comics and Coffee, and we're going to be right back after a brief message from this channel. Now, that's a reminder that you're dealing with me. Carlos is a gentleman, so I don't expect this to get MA with Carlos around. So we should be okay. Carlos, welcome. Thank you for having me on your show Wednesday night. This is now the second part of our multi-channel crossover. Good morning, John. Good morning, Nerdy Geek. Blue Beetle Horchata. Let's make that. Let's get the licensing from DC. You know. Good morning, Brian. I don't drink comic, but I watch for comics. Absolutely. You know. How are you? Oh, White Tiger, Cowabunga, dude. All right. By the way, I've been watching. One of my comfort shows to rewatch is Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and the amount of Ninja Turtle references is so good. You know, I love it. I love it so much. Oh, this is from your channel.
Joe Yates, what's up, buddy? Yes, go get you some coffee. And hey, funny you should mention that Blue Beetle Horchata. So Comics on Coffee is a company. They make comic themed coffee. They have an actual Blue Beetle Horchata, and yeah, they're a fun company. You should check them out. They're real cool.
And I'm going to all right. Oh, Aquaman salted caramel. No, but Batgirl gingerbread coffee. Hey girl, I see you. Batman Dark Knight roast. Okay, Blue Beetle Horchata, and they have K-cups. All right, I like it.
Yes, they do.
I like this. Save money. I can get medium, coarse, whole bean, extra fine. All right, what have you've ordered them before, right?
So here's the thing. I had a discount code to use. I had my own discount code with them to use, and I think it was for Christmas time last year, because I do like a top 10 Christmas gifts for comic fans video. Mm-hmm. Most Christmas gifting seasons, and I got a code from them, and then I never got a chance to use my own code. And so I was bummed, because we had a lot going on. My son coming into town because he's a Marine, so we don't always get to see him very much. And then just some unexpected repairs and appliance replace, all the boring daily stuff. So I wasn't able to do the coffee order that I wanted to do, because I was actually going to hook up a bunch of people with their coffee and stuff, but I didn't end up getting to do it. So maybe next year.
All right. So you could build your own sampler for $30 and try out their coffees on their website.
They've got some cool stuff going on there. And I do recommend people to try it. I do recommend people to try it out. The thing I'm most interested in actually is their teas. So, because they also do tea. And they've got a section for tea. They've got Middle Earth tea that you can get.
Lord of the Rings tea. Do you hear this, Lady Fantastic? Caroline, get on it. And look at 15% off your first order. Good morning, Garfwan. Thank you. And thank you for the super chat. All right, let's see. Let's go with a classic.
That is awesome. What is that, Glenn Powell?
Yeah, of course it's Glenn Powell. That's one of my men.
Oh, okay. All right. I should have asked you that. I should have asked you that. I should have been like, who you because on Wednesday I asked you I think we talked about top 5. I should have said top five men's, and said who are the guys.
Oh my God.
Glenn Powell, where does he rank? Where does Glenn Powell rank?
So my top 3, and any of them can win. Okay. Freddie Stroma, Glenn Powell,
Okay.
and Aaron Taylor Johnson. Any of
Okay.
if all three of them were in a room, and like I could like I would if someone said here's all three, just select one, I would die. I'm sorry. Like I would I'm pretty sure Aaron Taylor Johnson's going to win. I'm not going to get into the specifics because I don't think the general audience can handle it. But I have big reasons why I would choose Aaron Taylor Johnson first and foremost. But there would be a I would have to have a visual review before my final stance. That's all I'm going to say. But based on what what movies I have seen and what notes I have made, Aaron is really in the lead in this category. Now, Glenn might show up and bring me a surprise. So it's top ranking, but really Aaron ranks very high. And Tom Holland can show up because I love my short kings. But I also really love him with Zendaya. So it feels more wrong than the others. Bueller may still have a discount code with them. Right on.
What was I gonna say? I was gonna say no. It's cool to see Freddie Stroma because Stroma has he done a lot? I know he on a show before.
He has done so much. You have no idea. Okay. And
see, I didn't know about him until Peacemaker.
Right.
So
exactly. That was because he's done all these indie films and television shows and a little bit of this and a little bit of that and some Bridgerton here and blah, 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 blah. And the point is that man has been giving me fine international deliciousness for years. And now we're all enjoying the fruits of that labor. We're all enjoying it. He was also in some movie that I can't remember the name of because I literally just watched it for him, where this guy kept locking everyone in a time vault to see if they could survive the end of the world. And then, of course, and it would play out badly. And then in one of them, one of the scientists who's in the time vault for the experiment, he's like, hey, I'm gay and I'm lonely and there's no one for me. And it's like, oh, homeboy over here is bisexual. And they do the vault again. So Freddie Stroma and the scientist dude get together, And in the meantime, there's one girl who's really disgruntled by the experiment because she's like, you are completely effing with us, right?
Yeah.
And so she gets control of the situation. And it's a really cool, messed up movie because you know how you're familiar with Dragon Ball Z, right?
A little bit, yeah, a little bit.
Okay, so you know how they go into that place where time acts differently, so they can train for years, and it's only an hour in real life.
Oh, okay, that's kind of like a pocket dimension.
Right. So this experiment is like a pocket dimension that you lock into, and then you play out the scenario. People live, people die, mistakes are made, and then it ends, and you unlock and you reset. Right. So anyhow, crazy ass movie. I can't remember the name of it, but he's in it. I loved it. I love a crazy ass movie now and again. I gotta find that movie. I should go to PCP and tell homeboy over there, tell Robbie, we gotta cover this movie because it's a little nuts and I love it.
I'm curious about it now because when you start talking about multi-dimension, pocket dimension, and I'm a Freddie Stroma fan after Peacemaker because he stole the show in every one of his scenes. He did such a good job, and it wasn't like a derivative of some other character or performance. He pulled in bits and pieces of Deadpool. He pulled in bits and pieces of, almost like Kick-Ass kind of flavoring. And I mean, it was a really good performance in that. I haven't watched season 2 though, so I don't know what the big thing with him at the end of season 2 is. I heard there was something that changes up the status quo for Vigilante, and so thank you.
A little bit, yeah.
So I don't know, but I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. It could be nothing. It could be something. I'm not sure.
All right. So for the portion of our audience that doesn't know you, how do we do a comic book? I'm so tired of comic book origin stories. I just want Okay, so here's my favorite origin question is actually, what was the first comic that made you want to collect comics?
Oh, wow. Okay.
The
Okay, so I've got
not your first comic, but the comic that you picked up, and I was like, oh man, I'm collecting comics. You know,
man. I wish I had pulled it. So, okay, so there was a 3-part storyline in Detective Comics from the early '90s, and it was just random throwaway villain. It was a 3-issue arc. It guest starred Etrigan the Demon and Jason Blood, like his human host.
Yep.
And it was Batman had somehow run afoul of somebody who could summon demons, and they had summoned like a Cajun. It's called a tulpa, and it was like a 6-armed massive demon, kind of like Goro from Mortal Kombat. And I still remember it's a striking cover. I think it was Batman. No, it was Detective Comics, like number 617 or something, or maybe 517. I have it around here somewhere. It might be in my, it might be back here in this cabinet. That's a pain to try to open up and get stuff from. But it was Batman.
Is it Detective Comics 601 through 603?
It could be. It could be. Do you have it? Are you able to show it up?
I'm gonna pull it up.
Because there's the middle part of the story is the cover that grabbed me forever, and that's what got me into comics as a kid, or like I guess a tween. But then there's another one that I'll tell you about that I talk about on my channel all the time. Because I'm a big fan of that one. Let me see, what number is this one. I know I have it. See, I'm using my handy CLZ app to pull it up. It was during that '90s run with those real. Yes, that was the first part, but it was the second one. That is that's
a hell of a cover.
Okay, because imagine looking at this as like an 11-year-old kid. You don't get the access to media and the internet that we do now, that kids do now. So imagine looking at that, and like my little kind of logic-based brain was just saying, how is Batman going to get out of that? That thing is about to chop him in half, and there's nothing he can do. Now it's perfect cover art because this doesn't happen in the story. He does fight it, but that panel's not in the story. It's just such a striking cover, and I just, after this, I was hooked. Because back then there wasn't really local comic shops where you could go and get back issues and stuff, or at least I wasn't aware of them. There were those little mail order ones in comic books from like Mile High Comics where you could mail order stuff, but my parents weren't letting me do that. So I had to wait like years to find out the conclusion of the storyline. So yeah, that's the third
that's
part.
Painful. So I had multiple comic shops growing up, right? And but still, there were particular series that it took me years to storylines, and that took me years to complete, because just because I had access to local comic shops doesn't mean that they had full runs of All-Star Squadron, So
right, yeah.
What happens with Shazam, and like it was, or people's stock would rotate. So like 4 years after the fact, I found the conclusion to Death of Superboy, and now I have multiple copies of it, like a psycho.
Yes.
So cool series.
Yeah, I mean that was. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
The second Batman story I ever read is the Mudpack story.
Yeah, that's also one that I picked up, because this whole run of Detective Comics, when it was like the spooky supernatural detective stories where he's having to figure stuff out, like this was like what I grew up on with regard to Batman. Because they just had some really good stories, really bold stories. It was a really kind of dark time for the character, because he'd already had was it Dark Knight? The Dark Knight Returns had come out a few years prior, and this one introduced me to one of my favorite characters, Catman,
Yep.
And because I'm a big Catman fan, especially with Gail Simone kind of rebooting the character.
Oh yeah, she rebooted the hell out of him. It was great.
Oh, she completely changed. I mean, it was just see, and that's what I was like talking about. Like in the first part, was there's some of these characters. The editors are busy. They've got so much going on, but some of these characters that they have are so perfect. Bet that Batman didn't kick little kids.
Yeah, exactly. That's a big one. That's a big one, folks.
Right. But I mean, there's some amazing characters that both DC and Marvel have, but within their brain trust, they just don't know what to do with them. But there are fantastic possibilities. Like I've told you, one of mine would be like top of the list would be Tim Drake to do something interesting with him, because he's a fantastic detective. He needs to be in detective stories.
Interesting. They just I don't know what happens when people just decide to give up on a character. Like they have too many Robins problem that they created, and then they're like, oh, Tim's just not interesting enough. Then let's explore Tim's sexuality. Okay. And then first of all, they gave Tim a series and they gave him a crap freaking team. Okay.
Yeah.
And it only started getting good in the last 2 issues, and where you gave him a real artist. You couldn't have gotten him a real artist sooner. We had to deal with all those hodgepodgey covers. Like, I'm so angry about it. And of course, everybody wants a phenomenal team on their favorite characters. And obviously it just can't work like that. But I'm big on different anthologies, like, and maybe anthology books don't work, but like, you could take characters like Tim. They just sidelined him, They just sidelined him. Where he told Bruce, like, I got to take a break. I need to spend some time with Bernard. And I'm like, no, we don't do this. We don't sideline our lives like this. We don't sideline. It's like, yo, Bruce, maybe I can only Robin on weekends. I thought I could understand, And it's like, it's not like Bernard does not know what he signed up for. And Bernard could fight, which is a big deal for me, okay? Because I'm so tired of love interest not being able to do shit. I love that Lois's dad trained her and she could fight somebody. I love that Bernard can whoop somebody's ass. I love that. Give me that for days.
Yeah.
Then don't give me a title where he spends all of his time whining and complaining back and forth with Bernard about like how much time he spends as Robin. Shut the hell up. Solve a mystery, bitch. You signed up for this.
Yeah.
Right? You like tapping that Tim Drake ass. You solve some fucking mysteries with him. All right. Oh my god.
I like the idea of like taking him, like taking Tim Drake back to kind of like essentially what they do anytime they're going to test a character for like their own ongoing. Do it like what they did with Nightwing in his that 4-issue series by Denny O'Neil, and I think it was Greg Land, and they removed him from the status quo and sent him on a foreign mission. And they did this all the way back to the Wolverine, the original 4-issue Wolverine, to see, it's taking the character out of their normal everyday and dropping them into a new situation where it's just that character, and it gives the audience the 4 issues to either fall in love with the character or to say, we're good, we don't need him, and I think that's
great. He got a new costume, they gave him a haircut. Like, issue 1 is like standard Nightwing, and then like issue 2 we have the all new Dick Grayson, and
and that's what I'm saying is like they need to do that with some of these like they need to do. I was hoping they would do more of that when they gave Tim Drake his own title, that they would really kind of, and they did to a degree, because they gave him a new love interest, but then that was the primary kind of thing,
right? Which is
and
like,
it was like,
I'm like, do y'all just not understand? Y'all just do not understand my community? Okay, we want all the excitement and adventure that everybody else gets, and of course we want a little bit of drama too. But you can't make that the center. Right. I have the same problem with the TV series Supergirl. As soon as her sister came out as a lesbian, that's all she did. The only
Right.
time Alex,
Yeah.
her sister Alex,
Yeah.
the only time Alex got to behave like a badass again was in the
Yeah.
Earth X crossover when they attacked that church and her and White Canary were freaking housing up fake Prometheus there. That was fantastic. Homegirl got a freaking just a makeshift sword, and the other one, she grabbed the freaking incense thing. The incense. But she used it as a freaking weapon. I was like, girls, get this, get it, girls. But no. And of course, when they made her into her own superhero later on, very cool, very nice, but still very frustrating. And so it happens in TV, it happens in comics, it happens everywhere. And I'm just like, just first of all, go get yourself the queer writers who actually want to do it, right? Like, I read stuff like, I really wanted to write Wolverine, but they're like, no, you're gay, so go write Iceman. And I'm like, but I also enjoyed his Iceman. I'm also one of the three. I
love that you pointed that out. To me, it's like, because I run into this with because I collect like Hispanic superheroes. It's just kind of like one wing. I call them different wings. Like, I think of it like a big mental library of all the different parts of my overall comic collection that reflect me, as a person, as a collector. One of them is Hispanic superheroes. I mentioned that I started when Black Panther came out, the movie, and I saw how it became like a cultural thing. But it was for me, it was a character whose power set and origin flowed out of their culture, right? Out of their community and culture. And that was real big to me. And so I started researching Hispanic superheroes. And that's what kind of sent me on the whole quest to, because I went all the way back to the Golden Age, first appearances of Zorro, and, all the way forward, and all these different characters I started pulling and collecting them. But one of the things that, because that was like an automatic buy for like a Hispanic theme, thing, in addition to my other, different interests within comicdom, I would pick up, if it was a Hispanic lead or a Hispanic centered story, I'd go ahead and pick it up. But I remember this one independent book, and it didn't last more than a couple of issues, but it was so on the nose and like pandering, because that's the big word, pandering, that I just, I picked up the first issue and I read it and I said, this is terrible. I said, there's nothing.
Do you ever wonder if the writer is trying to share something and it comes off as pandering? And
I think, I think it's okay, because I had a really good conversation with Carl Potts at a convention. Carl was the writer for Punisher, the original Punisher series, not the limited and not the ongoing, but the Punisher War Journal.
Okay.
And he also did some art, but I talked to him about, because there was an economy of storytelling that, and we see this in media across the spectrum, because I'll mention that in a minute. But he told an incredible story with strong themes, strong characters, and just about, it's the first meeting of Punisher and Wolverine, which now is like a big thing. Punisher War Journal 6 and 7, and he did it in 2 issues. And we just don't see that happening today. We see this kind of focus on 5 to 6 issues just so they can make a trade paperback out of it, and the whole thing is themed and it's marketable. And I get that. I understand it's a business. Also,
we could still get a good story in 5-6 issues.
Yeah. But it's just I think what happens is they don't like the pros who the professionals, like the strong professionals that did it, have done it for decades. They don't tend to utilize them as much, and they tend to try to go after newer and younger and more kind of like identifying writers. But it's like, the experience level to be able to be succinct with it, and to make it a compelling character and compelling story, it's not always there. And so I think the writers, I think, do sometimes get too caught up in trying to put across like one certain facet of the character, but what happens is all the rest of that character suffers. And I think that's one of those things that, like you were talking about, we want the action, the adventure, in Tim Drake's case, the detective skills. We want all that, and that's why, again, why I come back to like a writer like Gail Simone and being a fan of hers is because she's able to do all that, like the fully fleshed out story, and hit these different facets of the character that we are drawn to, but still deliver that high octane, really strong, well-paced story, because that pacing is a huge thing in modern comics. The pacing is so stop and start and fast and slow and all that kind of stuff. So so it's I think there's a lot of stuff that's missing, and I think of course politics has gotten too mixed into it, with people getting mad at different publishers and stuff. It's like, look, guys,
it's hilarious to me, because every time somebody says my comic should be political, and it's like every major storyline was political. Every one of them was absolute social commentary, and I'm like, how do you not see this? I'm like, look at the X-Men, look at Bolivar Trask, look at Peter Gyrick, look at his interactions with the Avengers and the X-Men, look at the Purifiers, look at God Loves, Man Kills.
Right.
That's just the X-Men. That's just the X-Men. I'm like, what did you think was happening? Captain America becoming Nomad. All right, the dude hunting down replacement Captain Americas and leaving them dead on a trail. All of that, so much. Anyhow,
Well, I think honestly, I think even comic creators get kind of caught up in it as well. And I just want to see, I think I wish editorial would do this with their comic writers. Hey, look, anything you do is going to be controversial to somebody. Give a good story with really strong characters, the motivations fleshed out and conveyed, their actions, even when it's like, make it make sense, like the best of media, like the best of stories, give us cool moments for the fandom, and then, and don't get caught up in, this, that, or the other, but just give us that good, strong story. I think a lot of that's why they've, forgotten about some of the great characters they have that we don't see enough of. Like, I think, they were taken aback, I think, by the popularity of Vigilante, because we were talking about him beforehand. But what are they really doing with him other than, I think he was in like that mini series with like the Eagle or something from the show. Yes. I don't know, but they're not really doing anything with him. But it's like, look, it's like you had that, like the writers of this, like James Gunn served up to you a perfect little launch pad for this character.
Served up a nice little meal.
Right. Yeah. So take it and run with it. Nobody cared about Adrian Chase before. So take the character that was created in the show and just put him on the page and go with him. And I think to a degree they did, but I don't think they're like fully, completely aligned, because I think some of the comic titles have become just kind of, I think in a couple of cases, maybe, I don't know, they've become kind of stale. I'm not seeing some of the stuff that, the independent space is putting out some really great stuff, because I think they don't have the constraints that the bigger ones do.
A lot of it's creator owned, but the stakes are their own. Like Image, you have to invest. You have to invest a certain amount. you know.
Yeah.
But you own your stuff at the end of the day, you know.
Right. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, which I think, I mean, and I get it. I get it. You know, the big corporations with these certain IPs, you know, they cannot. There's certain things they can't do with the characters, and there's certain beats that have to be hit. So it's gonna feel different. You know, it's gonna feel different with that. But I don't know. You know, I think it's an interesting time in comics because we're seeing some bold choices being taken, and the market's responding favorably. You know, like Absolute Batman. That was a bold swing. You know, I mean, to recreate Batman, their most iconic, most popular character by far.
Okay, I'm not going to say it was a bold swing. When you create an alternate universe of something, it's not a bold swing, right? You created a universe intentionally. It was now. I mean, they put. I'm not didn't invest in it because they did. You know, they called their boy Scott Snyder and said, "Hey, we're giving you this project," you know, and you know we all know DC and Marvel talk to each other. There's no way you can tell me they didn't hear about Ultimates coming back and said, "Oh, we should try something."
Oh yeah, well yeah. I mean, but
they did it right, and now Marvel is scampering.
Yeah, but I mean, but think about this for a second though. Yeah, I would say it is a bold swing because why else would you go after? Because you know Scott Snyder is not the cheapest person on the payroll.
No,
not by far. He's top tier, right? At this point. So I looked at it and I said, you know what? Because think about how easy it would have been for them to get like some rando, you know, to like a, you know, just any writer, you know, because we were talking about like how sometimes they just put whatever creators on whatever books, and we wish they would give a really strong creative team to certain characters, and you know, our favorites. But you know, with something unproven, and it was only supposed to be a 4-issue limited series, and maybe that's why they went ahead and paid him for it. But at the end of the day, they paid top dollar.
By the way, it was 6 issues. 6 issues, and they never used the word. They were careful not to use limited series, but it got in everyone's head because what it was is Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman all had a planned 6-issue opening arc when Absolute started, right? And I think everyone felt that if this falls flat in its face, we've told the story and we can wrap this up with Dark, right? But of course, it took off like gangbusters, and here we are. Look at Martian Manhunter. It was, you know, also, it was like whatever, and now it's a maxi series because Martian Manhunter is 12 issues, right? And Martian Manhunter is gaining momentum and Absolute after they announced that issue 12 will be its last. Like, my mind is blown. People are really into it now. It's just incredible.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's probably one of the biggest surprises, and that's why it took so long to catch on, was because nobody was really paying attention to it. But there was each Absolute title had its own flavor, and this is the thing. I think you can really only do something this specific with a new version of the character, because you know the main DC Universe characters have so much baggage and so much history that because the last time we did something like that, because New 52 wasn't even this much of a change to the status quo. They just kind of, I think, added some things together and kind of wiped out a couple of things. Like, it was left very ambiguous and vague. The last time we saw like this big of a reinvention of the major characters, I think, was Just Imagine Stan Lee creating. I think. I don't know. There could have been other stuff. I mean, I know there's all the Elseworld stuff, but as far as look
at Dark Knights of Steel, man. Dark Knights of Steel is a wild side quest take on the characters. Supergirl is Superman's cousin. Bruce is his half brother. They're Kryptonians. You know, Supergirl is a full-on lesbian with Wonder Woman in that world. I mean, everything is happening over there. It's just everything, you know? Which reminds me, I will be talking about Supergirl and Wonder Woman later. But like again, there's no real stakes to it, and it's become fantastic. Series 1, great. The Winter Chronicle with Deathstroke of that world, great. Dark Knights of Steel Series 2 just announced, excellent. You know,
I need to go check that out. The Dark Knights of Steel. I don't buy like the big crossover issues in the moment. I usually wait and then I'll come back to them.
It's not a crossover. Just saying. It's
no, but you know, like those standalone stories that they do now, like Dark Knights Metal, and then you know, like any of those, like
that is a disaster. That is a disaster. Like don't bring the popularity contest to me. All right, I know how popular it is. I don't care for it. My smear campaign is well over the internet. Thank you very much. Oh, so honestly, my Catwoman Black Cat thing should be showing up on Monday. So this was supposed to be for February. My Black Cat Catwoman claws out. Okay.
Oh, okay.
So now, of course, one of these Black Cat is a slab of that cover. The other is a slab of that Catwoman cover. All right. There was a whole escapade where it went from UPS to USPS, but something was wrong with the address, so they shipped it right back to Lone Star. Right?
Oh.
And do you think that it ships back at the same class it came out? No. So all the way back to Lone Star, and Lone Star reships it as ground back to me with the corrected address information, etc. So February 22nd, I ordered it.
Wow.
And I will have it tomorrow, March 23rd. So that's for this. Now, of course, the winners will each get a slab, one Black Cat slab, one Catwoman slab. They'll get some Black Cat comics and some Catwoman comics and all of that wonderful goodness. So, you know, that's for this month. But on top of that, I'm going to slip some extra stuff in for the subscriber portion, because like I feel like I made everyone wait and all of that. And also while we're at it, you know, please feel free. I'm going to try to do my best to do more for members. I have been slacking. I don't even have a proper thank you card made up for everybody. I have to update that as well. But if you want to support the channel in other ways, please go pick up your supplies at BCW. Use promo code Cliff Comics. Save yourself 10% on your order, and help support me along the way. All right, that was my pitch, everybody. You know, back to the oh wait, and Black Spiders, you deserve a thank you. Let's get you one. Let's get you a thank you.
Those are. I need to up my clip game. My
clip game is very basic B level, but here we are.
Yeah, he's talking about this.
Yeah, look at
I have my like what you had requested me to have. I have my books here ready to show. Like on my, like I think on the theme, there you go, Cliff on Clips. Yeah, he is on it. He's got them. Yeah. I need to get some of those. I don't have a huge repertoire to pull from.
You gotta be real tricky. I had to find that clip. I had to adjust that clip. I had to use. Yeah. I had to strip audio, add audio. It was a whole adventure just to make that work. By the way, Sam, this death wounded me. You know how you're like, oh, that's upsetting. No, this one hurt me because I was never super crazy, particularly about his art, right? But he was a storyteller. And by the way, I should say the same thing about Frank Miller, because I'm really coming out hard on his art, but in reality, the man is a phenomenal storyteller, and there is a difference. All right. But Sam Keith was a great storyteller, but also one of the kindest people you could meet. Kind words, generous with his time. not one moment, not one sign of being full of himself, right?
Yeah.
I love that about that man, and he will be missed because we just have so few people like this left in the industry. I think everybody has I think most people have a sense of humility. I'm looking at you, Rob and Todd, but I think a lot of people have a sense of humility, and I love me some Todd, but we all know the truth. A lot of them have a sense of humility, which is good. But the sense of humility meeting kindness, I think, is really rare. And so shout out to that, you know. So rest in peace, Sam Keith. And maybe I'll do a video. I don't have the strength to pump out videos, like, because I'm just jumping on live streams all the time. And like, but I think I gotta do something for Sam Keith. I think I do. Archivist Adrift is here. Good morning. Go check out I Have Comic Issues with his guest Archivist Adrift. Great episode, answered all my questions in like the first 30 minutes, which I thought was great. I try to come up with some hard-hitting questions about archiving the books. Like, what are we doing? Like, what's the difference between A and B? Like, if this is restoration and this is conservation, what is that? All those questions are answered, and it's really good. I Have Comic Issues. Please go check it out. You know what? We should get to our first segment because like we're 40 minutes in. So let's do from the pull list.
Nice. Oh, you have little segment intros too. That's awesome.
Yes.
Fantastic.
All right. Do you have a comic of the week, sir?
Yeah, I do. So, okay, so this one had started out as a lark. Yeah, I did mention it. I did mention.
I think I know what you're talking about already.
Do you? No, so I had mentioned it. Paul, who's a co-host over on my Wednesday night show, and I will go look on the League of Comic Geeks online ordering system because I have one LCS. I have multiple LCSs. One of them does that system, so it's easy for me, like late at night, if I have like 30 minutes to go on an order. The first issue I saw it like in anything that's like a faith-based or stars a minister or priest or some character like that, I'll generally go ahead and try it out and see. But then when I saw the premise for it, like, you know, it was like a local priest used to be like is like a Green Beret or a Navy SEAL, and his past is now caught up to him, you know. And as soon as I saw that, I was like, oh man, I was like, okay, that's gonna be wild. And it was from Bad Idea. And Bad Idea has done some pretty cool stuff. So my pick of the week I think this was not from this past week. I think it was from the week before. But it was issue number 2 of Ordained. Right, was this the one you were expecting?
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it is a classic, you know, the classic, the badass who is no longer a badass, but is now doing something that has nothing to do with badass. Well, you know, that doesn't on its surface have anything to do with badassery, but then a situation arises, he has to handle it, and then he finds himself pulled back into his former life, and that's what I'll say about it. So I think as of when it was launched, it was talked about as being a 4-issue miniseries. They may extend it because I think it's already been like when it was before FOC, it had not been announced yet that it had already been optioned and was in active development, and that Colin Farrell was attached to play the lead. So it was only after the orders were closed for the first issue that information went public. So I'm a big fan of it. I snagged the A cover and the chromium variant because, you know, hail to the 90s. And so I'm enjoying it. It's exactly the type of wild, you know, actioner revenge thing that I thought it would be. You know, it's John Wick as a priest. So, you know, just, yeah, so it's kind of like, it's kind of like that Archivist. Yeah, it looks like Rattlesnake has picked it up. Cross Collect, yeah, you need to step up your. That's what I'm saying. I need to step up my Clips game. I don't have anything compared to what Cliff's got over here. So this is Ordained, issue number 2. I'd highly recommend. I don't know if you can still get issue 1 for an affordable price.
Don't worry, second and third prints are on their way.
Yeah. It did go to second print, and then maybe even just third print. But I do recommend picking it up and reading it because it is a fun read. If anything I said kind of sparks your interest. So that was my pickup. The honorable mention. This is a facsimile, but it was a foil, and I, even though I'd love to own a copy of number 1 in a CGC 9.6, I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon. So it's the foil
CGC 7.0. All right, like I would take it.
So this is it's the foil facsimile. So this is the first time. Do
you realize that you got the B foil facsimile?
Yes, okay. But I was okay with that because this is the art. This is the original. This was the original art that Corey Walker did.
Wait, hold it up closer.
Yeah, because this is the Corey Walker art. This is what the original looks like.
Okay, all right. I have both.
But the other
Walker and I have the animated series one.
Right. Yeah, the animated series one is new art.
I was wrong. Yeah.
Yeah. The new artwork is it was new art and it was cool, but it's an homage, and they put him in the same pose.
Yes,
but I like
it's the cartoon artist. Like that's the only difference.
Right. Yeah. So I wanted it because I never did. I had a run of Invincible because I started buying it back in 2003 when it first came out and was a huge fan of it. But then when the books started spiking, I went ahead and sold them so I could take the family on vacation that summer, and which it paid for them. That run. Now they'd pay for like 3 summers worth of family vacations. But I never, when I sell comic books and it goes to the family, it doesn't bother me. But this one, I just wanted to have this just to hold on to. Not that I want the whole run. Because I'm doing the hardbacks for these, but it was just it was something cool that came out. I decided to snag it, so it's my honorable mention for the pickups.
Listen, that's solid. For my book of the week, I'm gonna give it to the unsung heroine, the Batwoman. All right, Greg Rucka is back. Nice. He's my favorite Batwoman writer. And she's got her crazy ass twin sister. There's a whole asylum arc happening here. She's trying to game the asylum. They're trying to game her. They're trying to make her crazy. We're going at it. Batwoman's like, come and get me, mother lovers. I love that. It's a great issue. Obviously, this is not the A cover because I got this. Also, I decided I liked it so much and I need to support my queer brother and sister characters. I also got the blank. And also I decided to have an honorable mention because we don't talk about it enough. I fantasize about gay detective couples all the time. My dream movie project is Daniel Radcliffe and Elijah Wood as married gay detectives trying to solve a horrific crime spree that's run by Andrew Garfield, who's trying to seduce them the whole movie. If that isn't fine queer cinema for all audiences, because I got these 3 gentlemen in it, I don't know what. I'm doing it all wrong. But with that, I'm picking The Other Half by Joe Sema. So if you enjoyed Morning Glories, you'll probably enjoy this. So go check out The Other Half. All right. And that's it for my whole spiel. And all right, we're going to go into something special. And that means, oh wait, I don't have clips for it. I don't have clips, but I'm gonna use the former title until this is supposed to be Shelf Pleasure, but the previous name was and that made people uncomfortable. So now it's Shelf Pleasure, and I'm going to work on that. And this time I'll go first. For my Shelf Pleasure, I picked up this Brave and the Bold issue 63 featuring Supergirl and Wonder Woman. The first time a title headlined by two women at DC Comics. Amazing. It's their first team up. Do you think that it's in the freaking notes? No, I have to dig. But if you look on Key Collector and you look over at my comic shop, you will see this is a very big first in DC, and it's in a beautiful 7.5. I scored a nice deal on eBay with this. I'm very proud of it. I love it. I also have like a dirt cheap reader copy coming to me, so I look forward to exploring it. But this is a very, very exciting ad for my shelf pleasure.
Nice. Okay, so this would be the one comic that we're at that I was glad to add to the collection.
Yes.
Okay, so this one dates back a ways, and I actually didn't get it until like last summer. So it's been in the collection. I mean, it's fairly recent. So I'm a big Star Wars fan, not necessarily of the newest trilogy or some of the newer series, but the back in the 90s, before they launched or before they did the prequels, there was a novel series that was the official sequel trilogy to the OG Star Wars, and it was called Star Wars: Heir to the Empire, and it was three novels written by Timothy Zahn. So for the longest time, and there was a comic book adaptation of it, and for the longest time, I've wanted to get a chance to meet Timothy Zahn and have him sign my comic, which is also first appearance of Grand Admiral Thrawn. And so I finally got a chance at Fan Expo this past year. They announced that Timothy Zahn was going to be there and he would be signing. And he was such a gentleman. He was so nice. I'll show the books too, but the one comic I'm glad to add to the collection. So this was, and it's really in its current state because as it was, like I had the comic for a long time, but so this is the first print.
What a beautiful signature series. Beautiful.
Oh yeah, and I had him even sign it in yellow paint marker, so it would pop with the title and with the label. And so this is signed by the creator the author of the Heir to the Empire series and the creator of Grand Admiral Thrawn. He's not the writer on the comic series, but he is the creator of the material and the story. And it was just adapted to comics. So I had him sign it, and it came back shockingly as a CGC 9.4. I thought it was going to come. I didn't think it was going to come back past an 8.5, but the guy that I submitted through, he also pressed it, and he did a really good job with it. So it turned out really nice. And I've got this one now in the personal collection signed. I mean, because that was a big, because I like to chase signatures, and that was his signature was a big one that I wanted to have as a collector. But I didn't just have him sign the comic. I also, when it came out in 1995, my grandfather gave me this book. This is the same one I've had since 1995.
Wow.
And even more so, why it's super special. Oh, no, this was 1992. I'm sorry.
Ooh.
It's inscribed by my grandfather, Merry Christmas, 1992.
Oh.
And yeah, I mean, man, it's like it's been with me forever. And so and I showed it to him, and I had Timothy Zahn go ahead and sign it and inscribe it with a quote from Grand Admiral Thrawn. So this is the second book in the series. This is a first print, and it's one of those kind of personal collection books that's with me until the end. And then I'll leave it to the kids if they want it. But then I also tracked down this one I had since it came out in 1992. These other two I had to track down to get a matching first print set. So this is the first book in the series, Heir to the Empire, and had Timothy Zahn sign this one. And the reason I'm showing these, I know it's all around this one book, but I wanted to show the novels too, because people should know, like if people read the comics and like the comics, they should also check out. I
think I'm familiar with that one. Is that Mara Jade versus the Luke clone?
Yep.
I love that story. And I'm one of the few people who loved Mara Jade, and apparently she was not well received by everybody. So,
here's the thing. I loved her. I thought it was a fantastic idea to give. Like I thought her character was a fantastic creation. I thought she made a fantastic match for Luke, and I loved their kind of B story that flowed through this trilogy. And but I can understand why some fans felt like, no, Luke should be solely devoted to the mission or whatever.
Which is
I get all that,
because we all saw how that worked out, folks. We all saw how that worked out. All right, not great.
Yes, yeah. Black Spider is asking, saying, he's saying, didn't Timothy also write some Star Wars books? Yeah, these are the Star Wars books. The first three. He went on to write additional Star Wars novels, so these are not his only ones. And keep in mind, when they brought him on to write these books, he was already a Hugo Award-winning science fiction writer. So he was already a big deal, and then they brought him to the Star Wars universe. So in the science fiction book circles, it was a really big catch that they brought him in. And here's the thing, his book series, this is where Coruscant got its name. And this is where Kashyyyk got its name, like the home planet of the Wookiees. None of those planets had ever appeared in media until this trilogy. So
wait. The Wookiee homeworld is in the Star Wars Holiday Special. Did they not say the name in the Star Wars Holiday Special?
No, I don't think so, because I remember, like, on the list of things. Now, I could be wrong, but I know at least Coruscant, the first time it was ever mentioned or described, it was the Empire's homeworld was talked about, but the name and a lot of the descriptives and kind of the world building, all that happened in this new trilogy. And if you're a Star Wars fan that was not as happy with the sequel trilogy that we got on film, I would recommend going and picking up the novels. And there's even some really good audiobook versions that have like full cast and music and everything, that you can actually pick up, that you can listen to, like, if you have a long commute to work. I still have, to show you how long I've been into this series. This is part 2. Now, for the younger viewers that don't know what this is called a cassette tape. And we Cliff, I don't know. Cliff, I don't know if you're I don't know where you land, but like generationally, but yeah, this is a cassette tape, and it's the Heir to the Empire. My daughters were looking at these and they were like, "Dad, what is this?" And I was like, "Oh God, my child, I have not taught you well yet." And so
you gotta slow play your childhood into their childhood,
which I do with the Saturday morning cartoon.
Like before they get a cell phone, you give them a rotary phone and be like, "Here, learn how to use this." Dial a number. Right. Here, dial my number. Turn it. Turn that dial, kids. Turn that dial. That's right. Then
these are the first 2 parts. And but I try to teach them as much as possible with stuff. The concept of like Saturday morning cartoons has been the past 2 years. I've been kind of like, on Saturday mornings we get up and I won't let them watch any of the reboot stuff. It's only the stuff from my childhood. And not because of anything against the new stuff, but I want them to get the full experience of what it was like to have to wait to watch your favorite cartoon until Saturday morning, and then you got it, and you couldn't. There was no pauses. You couldn't stop it. Because like on Tubi, where a bunch of those series are, you can pause it whenever you want and get up and go do whatever. I was like, no, we had to race during the commercial break to go get the bowl of cereal and come back and all that kind of stuff. So Brian, absolutely. And the thing is, the cassettes and the CDs you can find fairly inexpensively now. I got a CGC 9.2 of Heir to the Empire last week. I'm telling you, Joe Yates, we share a bond on the comics. But yeah, so that all wraps up into my one book I'm glad to add to the collection, because I'm flying high on this one right now. The current big book I'm on a quest for is Star Wars #1 in a CGC 9.6. And because for personal collection books, like all my nostalgia books, I only collect CGC 9.6s. I don't
give a damn. I am like, I need to own the book. This morning, I was going back and forth with C-Bizzle on like, I would be happy to own a Frankenstein giant size X-Men #1. Now, do you know what I mean by Frankenstein? Right?
Rebuilt. Yeah.
Right. That means the original pages have been rebuilt with somebody else's original cover, and I'm fine. I have a friend who has a 1.5 Action Comics #1. He insisted on getting Blue Label after all the conservation was done. It is an Action Comics #1 cover. It's an Action Comics #1 back cover. It's an Action Comics #1 interior. He found them separately. He spent hundreds of dollars on each item separately. Took it to a professional binder who made it gorgeous. If you looked at it, not knowing what took place, you would think that this book is a 6.0. But no, it's a Blue Label 1.5. But the point is, does he have an Action Comics #1? Is it sitting on the wall? All right. It's gorgeous. Right. Am I jealous? Yes, I'm jealous. Of course.
You want to know what's crazy? I had a Star Wars #1 in a CGC 6.0, and I sold it because I want for my nostalgia books. This is only my nostalgia books. Okay, this is like you can't see them on here, but I have a G.I. Joe, a Visionaries, a G.I. Joe #1, a Visionaries #1, a Silverhawks #1, and a He-Man and the Masters of the Universe #1, an A-Team #1, all in a CGC 9.6. So that's kind of just become a thing. It's become like my thing. Like, you want to know what's crazy? Is I might even at some point sell this one to upgrade to a CGC 9.6, but I don't know that I can't.
Do not do that. Don't do that. Do not make me come out to Texas to slap you. I know. No.
Right.
Why after everything you went through for that? Why would you? You know, like, I wouldn't.
No, you're right. That's why I wouldn't do it. But the OCD in me.
You're like, oh, I really want to go to Disneyland with the kids. I was like, shut up. Go sell those other comic books. Go sell some X-Men. What are you doing? And not the good X, all the trash ones.
I'll have something else. I'll go and grab it in a second, but I have something else I'll show you based on something you said. But yeah, but this is
build my Action Comics 1 page by page.
Dude, that's a great strategy. That's a great with the conservation technology we have now. That's a great strategy, because you can actually build yourself that book that you want, and then have it Blue Labeled, and it's there, and it'll be in the notes, but you have a beautifully presenting Blue Label Action Comics 1, which is wild to think about, because even that by itself is probably worth, $1 million, half a million.
No, not even close. It's not even close. It's worth tens of thousands.
Oh wow. Okay.
Well, because like anyone could check the notes, and see everything that's been done, and a lot of people want an original, even if the cover is hanging off by one pin, right?
Yeah.
I know, John. I know, and I only said the trash X-Men. You know what? Here, let him say. You know what? He can sell all the Cyclops focused issues. Does that make you feel better?
No, I need to show you. I need to show you something. There's another book, and what's crazy is that this is the book I picked, and it's not even the other one, because this probably isn't even like a Flasher Books kind of a book. This is more of like a personal book. But there's other ones.
I think a lot of people that book resonates with them.
I mean, I hope so, because it was an excellent series, and I really wish that Disney had that Kennedy had decided to do it. But you know what's crazy is that even though George Lucas commissioned the Heir to the Empire series, when he made outlines for the sequel series, he did not use the Heir to the Empire books. He made his own, which I'm just like, and I get it, because the thing is, the characters in Heir to the Empire takes place only about I think it's between 5 and 8 years after Return of the Jedi. So the original actors were way too advanced to come back and do that. I kind of feel like maybe, and I know this is probably blasphemy for other Star Wars fans, but as a Star Wars fan since 1977, I think it would have been okay to recast the main roles, to recast those 3 roles, and then it, because what it does is it frees you up, like the tragic passing of Princess Leia, of Carrie Fisher. That left them with very little direction, with few directions to go in, with her story. But by recasting them while the older actors are still alive, you have the benefit of both of them, and you can do some cool flashback stuff, flash forward stuff, but still leave it open for continuing adventures of the characters. And I'm one of those ones that thought Sebastian Stan would make a fantastic Luke Skywalker.
Oh, yeah. And now I'm over it. But also, that's just such an overall sore topic, right? Because
the recasting?
Yeah, because was it ever written in stone that Star Wars had to be about the Skywalker family and only the Skywalker family? Right? Could we just not have just had a sequel that takes place later? The legacy of the Skywalker family is there, right?
Yeah.
And then just move on. There are new people. There is new rebellion. There is new threats, and the new era has to take it on, rather than a forced passing of the mantle. Also, all these people sitting around working on a movie, and instead of working on a trilogy, they were working on a movie. And that also incenses me. Anyhow, so that was books that we're really excited about adding to the collection. Let's take a break and play one of my favorite games.
Awesome. I love this.
Okay. I'm glad you like it. As usual, our game of Rate It or Hate It is brought to us by Cover Price. This is the 3-year later retrospective from March of 2023. At number 10, we've got The Punisher 218, a Clayton Crane cover. In 2023, speculation drove this book wild as the Punisher would make his debut in the MCU's Armor Wars wearing a War Machine style armor. We all saw what we got with that, folks. All right. Carlos, it's your first time playing. It's Rate It or Hate It. If you rate it, you rate on a scale of 1 to 5. If we hate it, we pass on it. Sir, rate it or hate it?
Hate it.
Hate it. Ooh, strong opinions. Strong opinions. Why do you hate it?
Okay, there's multiple things. I'm not the biggest Clayton Crane fan.
What? You talk to your wife?
I tend to try to stay away from the messy, and it's a cool cover, and he is an excellent artist. My big thing with Punisher is I am a diehard Volume 2 and Punisher War Journal Volume 1 guy. So anything that isn't just Frank in his van with microchip and just his basic Punisher suit and his grounded real world weaponry, it just, it's not really my thing. If I was going to say rate it, I'd still only give it a 1. No, it's not Wolverado. It's not the it's not just the artist. It's just this. It's taking Punisher into a realm that he doesn't really belong in. Like Punisher doesn't really have any business in Armor Wars, flying around in an armor suit, in a War Machine suit. He's a grounded street level superhero. He needs to be chopping it up with Daredevil and maybe Spider-Man. And, you know, and that's why I'm even a little bit kind of, I thought the Bernthal take was fantastic. I love the Thomas Jane take. I love the, like I really like all the different ones. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's probably harsh of me to say it, but I'm just, it's just not this is not my cup of tea when it comes to Punisher.
Normally when I say hate it, we just skip it, but I would say I would give this a 3. There's plenty of people who this is for. Next up at number 9, we have The Good Asian #1. Of course, this was because Deadline reported that it was being optioned, and 3 years later, the book is down again. The project remains stuck in development hell, and which is a shame. So rate it or hate it.
I don't know anything about this book. Surprisingly, I don't know anything about this book. I mean, I guess. Well, what do I do? Like, if I have nothing to go off of but the cover, where should I
rate it based on the cover? You could rate it based on the cover.
I mean, I'd get, because it's got that film noir look and feel to it. I'd give, I'd rate it. And I'd give
the plot, by the way.
Wait, the what?
It's key to the plot, the noir thing, because this does take place in old Hollywood.
Okay. I mean, I'll rate it and I'll give it a 2, but because I don't know. For me, it's all about the story and the art complementing the story. If I love a good story, but the art is only so-so, it's going to rate higher for me. But it, like, the only way I'm getting a 5 is if I absolutely love the story and love the art that goes along. Like, and I feel like the art fit it. Because sometimes there's those mismatches where the art just doesn't fit the story. And I hate reading those kinds of books because I'm like, why did they do this?
No, this art fits really well. It's Alexander Tefenki, and he's Belgian, Vietnamese, and
oh wow,
and Djibouti heritage. If I'm getting this right, God forgive me because I have not had to do this. So he is on art. Pornsak Pishitot is the writer. I'm not exaggerating. He's a Thai American. And he is known for writing hits, Dead Boy Detectives, and Infidel. And the story here is it's the 1930s, San Francisco. He's a Chinese American detective. And in the process of solving a missing persons case, he is forced to confront his identity, racism, corruption, Hollywood, all the things. Highly recommend this book. Highly recommend. Oh my God!
Black Spiders is not a fan.
No. Anyhow, I'm just saying, if y'all want a good missing persons read / everything connects the dots and it's a good story and it's a one and done, I'm giving it a 3. Okay, moving along. Image, the 30th anniversary anthology, number 8. This one popped because pure FOMO collectors chase this back because there's a preview of World Tree in it.
Oh, okay. Then I would say rate it, and I would give it maybe a. Can we do points in the middle of whole numbers, or does it have to be?
I don't care for it, but people do it all the time, so go for it. Also, He hated the ads, which means I left on the damn advertising, and I'm really sorry.
Okay, so I would get, because it's a World Tree preview, and only because I wouldn't be chasing it right now, because I tell people on my channel all the time, stop chasing FOMO trends, because you're going to end up, with losses. But I would say because it's up here and because I thought World Tree was really solid, I would go ahead, but I don't own this book, and I didn't even know this was the first like World Tree preview thing, but I would say I'd rate it, and I'd go ahead and give this like a 3.5. But not for the pricing.
I'm gonna rate it. I'm just gonna give it a 2 for a completist. Obviously, people who enjoy it, they're out there. Do you know what's really messed up? I put Jean Grey up as a thumbnail. We barely talked X-Men. The only X-Men I've mentioned so far was selling your Cyclops books, because how dare you? But okay, I gotta reel it back in. Next up is unusual. It's a Taurin Clarke foil Virgin variant, 1 in 50 of the Flash. I love Taurin Clarke, so I will start with that. This variant took off as Iris West debuted as Thunderheart, with collectors rushing to secure the striking 1 in 50 foil with her and her new identity, fueled by character momentum, limited availability, and immediate aftermarket demands. I get it. Here we are. Rate it or hate it.
All right. Okay. So I need to get on my soapbox for a second here, because I talk about this all the time, especially during the members only live stream. I constantly tell my viewers, watch out with these ratios. This is a classic example. You should never pay more than the number of the ratio for the book. So nobody should have been paying more than $50 for this book. And probably the advice I would have given on this book, if it had been covered on the show, would have been, well, because the show is only like a couple years old, so we weren't even doing the show when this came out. But I see this every single week, and I say the same thing Gerald Yates and Wolverado, any other channel members from my channel can drop in and attest to this. But I would say wait on this book. As far as the book, judging the merits of the book itself, that cover art is fantastic. I would, which is really what you're getting here, because it's a 1 in 50, so you can get the story somewhere else, but here you're just going for the cover. I mean, yeah, I would rate it, and I would go ahead and give it maybe a 1.5 to a 2, because it's a really good, like Taurin Clarke is fantastic, and it's a really good cover. But to me, $30 is the point when I'm looking to buy in. When I'm looking to buy into this book,
right? Because it's less than ratio. So
right
off the bat, it's doing well.
Yeah. So at least again, by the kind of the standards I set for it, and under no circumstances would I be buying a graded copy of it. I would be getting a raw copy that was pristine, and then if I had to have it graded, I would get it graded myself. But even then, it's not worth it. It's not worth it, because you're going to spend $60 on the grading for what? I can just put it in Mylar.
Just get a homemade comic slab and shove it in there and put it on the wall.
Yeah,
and let it be pretty. All right, I'm going with a 3. Flash is popular. It's a first appearance. It's a small key. There's people who want it. Don't overpay. So a 3 it is. Carlos, it is ridiculous how much money he has saved me. Good, right on, right on.
Well, because that's what I tell them, is that, look, everybody is on a budget. And if their channel membership can save them a few bucks, then man, I'm all for it. And if it can save them a few bucks with us just going over certain rules of thumb, man, yeah, absolutely.
Listen, it's the way to go. All right, number 6, a favorite of mine, Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, and look at her bouncing back 3 years after appearing on the freaking top 10. She is on top. She's back in action. Her movie's coming out this summer. Carlos, rate it or hate it?
Absolutely rate it. I'm going to put it at I'm going to go ahead and put it at a 3, and I'm going to rate it. It's a fantastic take. I think probably my biggest thing with this when I was reading it was the only thing, and I don't want to say it with that because I don't want to give it away for people that haven't read it, but my biggest concern throughout was the Superman family's fate. That was kind of, it happened in the first, I think, issue, and then we don't see the conclusion of it until the end. And that was the thing I kept thinking about, was like, nothing better happened to that character. And so, are you getting that, Cliff? You know which one I'm talking about?
Yes, I do. I got you.
Yeah. So, but I mean, I thought it was a fantastic way to reintroduce the character. It was a whole different way to look at her. I loved what they did with the character. I do wish that it actually might have been cool. It might have been cool to have, because Lobo is in the movie, but he's not in this series, and the movie's based heavily on this series. So other characters.
Let's not use the word heavily. All right, the movie is inspired by this series. All right, and for those of you wondering what I'm talking about, go check out my behind the panels interview with Tom King, available here on Cliff on Comics. Okay, so that said, after my self promotion, what do you rate it?
I'd put it at I'd rate it at a 2, or I'd rate it at I think probably at a 2 to 2.5.
Oh,
is where I'd put it.
My God. Okay, so
collect your thoughts. It's all right.
What just happened here? I am giving this a solid 4. I'm not giving it a 5 because I don't think everybody needs to own one, but I am giving it a 4 because it is a great story. It is the basis for that film. And yes, it's like, it is worthy. It is worthy. And, and the book was a sleeper. They have the new Pocket Digest version available. And, just if you want a great read, but if you want to have it because you're like me and you're just a super fan lover, the Superman family lover, then yeah, I understand. So I'm going with a 4, even if it's biased. Even if I sucked the bias right out of this, I would still give it a 3. And look at this. My friendships are being destroyed here today. Why, John? Why? I love Supergirl. Listen, if I was in full bias mode, I'd go with a 5. Do you hate it, John? Is that what I'm finding out? Do you hate it? Is that what's going to happen? Is that what's going to hurt our friendship?
I think it's, here's the thing. I thought it was a great story. I thought it was a great thing. The one thing about this is I'm not the biggest fan of the artwork for this series.
How dare you?
And I know, but that's the thing. That's the beautiful thing about fandom, is that's the beauty.
I'm sorry. I'm looking for.
No, I didn't hate it. The only thing I've hated was the Punisher one. That's the only one I hated. I didn't give it as high a rating.
I know, but Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow, that's a low blow with a 2.5. That's a low blow. 1s and 2s are about, this isn't for me. 3s are about, it's definitely for me. And then 4 is like, wow, I really think there's a big audience. And 5 is like, you should absolutely have one of these in your collection.
Okay. So let me. Okay, so if that is the kind of the perspective on it, I would shift it up to a 3. It's not a solid 2.
I'm glad that I took the time to remember that you are new here, and I had to give you a fresh rundown. All right.
I think you know what you need. You need a little graphic to flash up and say what. Because so the way I was thinking in terms of rating. Hate it would be like the low rating, and then rate it anything.
Pass on this trash. That's what I'm gonna do. We're gonna pass on this trash. That's
all right. Okay, then I better not. Okay, see, I didn't know that also, so I better bump the Punisher up to a 1 then.
Good job.
Because the thing is, I got to have some frame of reference for it. So you gotta let me know, because I'm not. I don't. None of the books on this list have been ones like throw it in the trash heap or burn it. And that I don't even know that I would ever have a book.
Brigade number 1.
No, I would.
Cyberforce number 1.
No. I mean, I have half a short box of Turok Dinosaur Hunter number 1s.
Turok is good though. Turok is good.
It is, but it's one of those massively overprinted books that everybody's got a copy of.
Yeah,
I just
do you know
do you know Southern Comic Geek?
Yes.
Okay, so he is the current in the arms race for Turok #1s. He is the current leader amongst the small meme book tribe where we buy. Yeah, I wish I had as many copies as he does. I think he's going to corner the market on them.
I also snagged the Dollar Tree Supergirl. I feel very good about it. Anyhow, moving along bravely into number 5. Damian Wayne's first appearance, Batman 655, rate it or hate it.
Okay, I have to rate it. It is a Batman book. It is a Robin book. And just by virtue of that fact.
Thanks, Mars.
All right, Missing Mars, thanks for tuning in. We'll see ya. Okay, so I'm going to rate it, and I'm going to put it at a 4.
Ooh, good choice.
I'm going to put it at a 4. I mean, I hesitate to, like, okay, if there was a Robin story that I was going to give a 5 to, it would be the Under the Red Hood storyline, the return of Jason Todd. That is like a must-have. I think this is really strong. So I debated internally whether or not to give it a 4 or 5. So I went with a 4, just kind of, because I think it's absolutely a book that everybody should check out. I would even go further and say you should definitely be on the lookout for the 1 in 10 variant as well, because there is a variant by Andy Kubert. No, it's not by. Wait,
and no, it's Adam Kubert. It's Adam Kubert.
Adam Kubert. Sorry, Kubert brothers. But yeah, it's there's a 1 in 10, and I would also look for that one as well.
And I bet there's a 9.6 of it waiting for you out there.
Somewhere. It is out there, but it's not on my list for this year. So I'm supposed to I committed at the beginning of the year. I did a 2026 collecting strategy video. It's a one-shot video where I laid out my collecting strategy and goals for the year. And I have a new show that I'll be debuting at some point called, I'll do the exclusive announcement here. Not that anybody cares, but it's a show called Run Builders, and it's just about it's going to just be tracking run building collectors, because a lot of collecting fandom, and I'm not saying I pick or choose one or the other, that one's better. I think it's a preference thing, but it's going to be just about a group of collectors and like a checkpoint as they're working to build a specific run. And it's I don't know, I just don't know the frequency of the show yet. That's my biggest thing, is because it might almost be like a once, because sometimes, like my G.I. Joe run that I built took 3 years to build, and because I didn't want to pay top dollar for it. Like that was my big thing, was I wasn't going to resort to eBay or paying top dollar. I wanted to get the books as cheap as possible. So thank you for that. That's fantastic. Yeah. So anyway, that was awesome.
I was waiting on it. That's
good. But yeah, I absolutely give this a 4 out of rate it and give it a 4.
I'm gonna actually shock everyone, and I'm gonna give it a 5. I feel like it's an affordable key. A friend of mine just picked one up for $20, and and it's the debut of Damian Wayne, and he's been Robin now. He's been Robin now for 20 years.
Jeez, right? That is wild.
He's been Robin for he's been around for 20 years. I think this is a key that everybody should have.
Yeah.
Again, 5 means you should have. Doesn't mean you have to have.
I will let me dovetail onto this, because this is another piece of collecting advice that I give people, is don't just pick up 655. When it's a character like this, where there's even a little bit of conversation about cameo appearances and stuff like that, even though the market's has currently decided that 655 is the book, I would also pick up 650. I would pick up 655, the 1 in 10 for 655, and then 656 and 657.
Yeah, because one of them is his first cover appearance.
Right, yeah, 657 is first cover appearance, and
right
then there
on,
is a little, yeah, there you go. Yep, I mean, because that's the thing, you can find these books out there. So I tell people, get, if you're ever in doubt about the first appearance of a character, get all of them. Just go ahead and get all of them before, because what will inevitably happen is people will spill over into the other ones, and those prices start to inflate also. Because not all comics have like the all-in-one thing where it's like their first appearance, their origin, and their first cover appearance all in one, like Firestorm #1 or Nova #1. Those are like the all-in-one, or Black Lightning #1. Those are the all-in-ones, and those, to me, I call those stackables. Like, you can have 3 to 5 copies of them, so when the character pops, you sell off a couple and take advantage of the, because that's like just a collecting thing that you can do to help build your collection, is when there's like these specific, because like Gambit, even, it's disputed that there's 2 potential first appearances, so I tell people buy both, but like Firestorm, it's not disputed, it's all in that one first issue. So yep. yeah, absolutely pick this one up and pick up 656 and 657.
I'm gonna agree with you. Hey, Tim is here. Good morning. And oh my God, Tim, you showed up when we're talking about your book. It's perfect. All right, that brings us to our more unusual next book at number 4. It's Batman 357, but it's the blank cover. This is an unexpected hit because blank facsimile variants that collectors quickly recognize are ideal for sketches and remarks. At conventions, the novelty of a blank facsimile has driven a surprising demand, with Ross hitting $19, even promoting DC to release a second printing. Because fans want to personalize and preserve. And I can't agree more, because I have been a blank cover aficionado, not even aficionado. I've been a blank cover collector, like draw on this for me guy since the 2000s, the early 2000s. As soon as the first blank covers started arriving on the scene, there I was. Like my first blank cover, I think, is for like, oh my God, I don't even remember what my first blank cover is, but I remember I got a bulk pack of blank Avengers #1, right? That just had that A silhouette on it, and I had so many people do art on those for me. I went crazy with it. I just absolutely loved it. I'm gonna see if I can find it.
I mean, I'll dovetail into that. I think this is absolutely a rate it. To me, it's just a question: is it a 4 or 5? And I think if you are a collector that gets a lot of sketches done and cover sketches done, it's absolutely a 5. If you're not, then maybe a 4. But this is a necessity. And here's the big thing: the thing that my theory on this book, because I've also watched this book like explode. There's another one that's a shocking one that I'm going to tell you about also. But this one, the reason that the thing that's driving it is that masthead. The masthead logo is not a new one. That's a vintage masthead logo from when a lot of collectors in my generation were picking up the comic book off the newsstand. And so I think, because we've had other Batman blanks before, but they've all been newer versions of the masthead. This is a very classic 70s, 80s masthead. And so I think that's part of what's driving the demand for this one. I mean, the prices have come down off of it, but I think it's a good one. I'll tell you the other big one that is almost impossible to find them. There was a mini series called Stray Dogs that was done several years ago, where it was a serial killer story but it was drawn in the style of like the Don Bluth animated cartoons from the 90s. And it was, it's Trish Forstner and Tony Fleeks that did it. So the first print blank covers for that book are like a ghost, because so many people bought them to have their pets drawn on them, that now you can't find blanks of the first print. And the other cool thing is, so our dog is actually in issue number 3, because they had a thing for readers. You could submit your picture of your pet, and like I was one of the early early readers of it. So as soon as I saw that in issue number 1, I snapped a picture of my dog. She was riding in the car with me, and I submitted it to their email address. And so in issue number 3, there is a boxer named Cinnamon laying on the floorboard of a car, and that is my dog, or that is our dog. And yeah, and then we got I got the first print blank, and had Tone Rodriguez, who did inks on the series. I had him sketch a cover of her on it, and that's back here in my cabinet also. If I'd known we were going to talk about blanks, I would have had it ready to pull out. I may pull it out before we're done too, and show it off.
I mean, who knows? Yeah, that we were gonna tread into blank hood, but we did. We did.
Yeah, I'm also a huge fan of blanks. I think I have a whole stack of them here, and I think they're well worth having. And yeah, if there's a comic that you enjoy, you should absolutely pick up the blank cover for it, because who knows who you could get to do a sketch on it.
Oh, always. And you never know. Sometimes you're like, man, this is great. We're going to do it. It's happening. We're doing it. Like, I was like, it's like, oh, 225. It's like, you know what? Today, not any other day of my life, but today at this show, that sounds like a good deal. We're doing it.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah. All right. We're getting closer. We're at number 3, and it's Deadly Neighborhood Spider-Man number 5. Ooh. Right? Back in the day when like spider characters slowly were introduced to us, not like literally every week. So this is the first appearance of Dream Spider. And yes, Jason Todd does deserve better stories, but hey, he's going to be training Titans, so let's see how that goes. All right, sir, are we going to rate it or hate it?
I don't know anything about this. I really don't know anything other than what you just said. I mean, I would probably, I guess, rate it and put it at maybe like a 2 to 2.5, only because hang on. You said if it's a fine book to own, but it's not my cup of tea, where does that fall again? Like a 2 or a 3?
That's in the 1s and 2s area. That's in the 1s and the 2s.
Yeah, I mean, I would give it a 2, because here's the thing. I think the biggest problem with Spider-Man and Spider-Verse right now is that they have, I guess, to drive sales or just to have fun or for whatever reason, they've introduced so many spider characters that they can't possibly address all of them. So I feel like it deflates the value of all of them together. Yeah. Because there's too many of them for them to, like, they can't figure out what to do with all these. Like, I remember when Araña was a big deal, and now that book, I mean, I think that. She was like it was like $100 key for a long time, or $100+ key for a long time. Now I just saw a copy for sale for $20 on an Instagram claim sale, and so it's like, it's fine for like Spider-Man completists, but I think just for the general collecting public, yeah, I mean, I couldn't go any higher than a 2. I don't think, I mean, I think they need to. They need to use the characters they have before they, introduce more characters. I love that Spider-Man Noir is getting some attention, and they're doing a show for him, and he's getting some kind of play. But I mean, man, there's I don't even know. There's like dozens and dozens of Spider characters. There's too many of them.
There is, and again, it's just about weirdness and greed, and they've introduced some really interesting spider characters, and then they just don't use them so much. Yeah, Marvel has effed up on Spider-Man. They really are. I am giving this a 2. Mostly I'm giving it a 2 because I own one.
Well, I mean, see, that's the thing. There's nothing wrong with owning it.
I bought the series though. I bought the series. So like because
did you like it?
The series. The series was just okay. You know, this is still a really cool cover across the board. You know, but ultimately,
yeah, it's a dope cover. That's for sure. Okay, so fortunately, I was able to easily snag it, but I pulled this here. So this is the Stray Dogs, and beautiful. So Tone did this one. Yeah,
and how fitting that's a 9.6.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It is. And so it's it was just a cute little sketch that he did. He was fairly affordable, and this is a first print #1. But see, what I did, this is what so many pet lovers did with the first. So to find one of these that's still blank, it's a ghost book.
I imagine. And Trish Forstner is so amazing. Everyone in that book is just.
Oh, she's fantastic.
Yeah, she's a kind, generous person, for sure.
She is. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, Tony's like the coolest guy ever. Yeah. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, no. Like I said, everyone I've met who's worked with the book has been amazing.
Yeah.
Villains. I very much enjoyed Nightcrawler as Spider-Man for that short period that was weird after the fall of X. But I liked it. I didn't love everything they did with Mystique, you know, and it was mad questionable, but I liked it overall. All right, Daredevil 183. It is. Wait, which meeting of the Punisher is this? This is surge with anticipation for the return of Punisher to the Daredevil MCU. Blah blah blah, and yep, fans rush for this to spotlight their iconic rivalry. I really don't feel like this can't be the first time that they met, right?
No, this wasn't the first. It was just an iconic cover, and it fits in there with Punisher #10, which is when Punisher or when Daredevil went into the Punisher book.
Yeah.
And it's just another one of their, because you know these two street level characters, there's always been that kind of competing ideology thing. They're like the street level version of Magneto and Professor X. You know, two completely different approaches to how they deal with crime. So
I'm not co-signing on that statement. I am not co-signing on that statement.
What, like that they're like a street level ideological clash?
No, they have different ideology, but they are both brutal people, and just one doesn't want to kill everyone in his path, and the other's like, screw them, they're scum, let's kill them. So and let me tell you, although there's a fine line between them, that fine line is between them. As a bystander, I'm like, oh my God, you're both brutal and monstrous. I've seen you break arms and legs. I've seen you kill people with your billy club, not to death, but to beat information out of them. Like,
yeah.
I'm just saying, like, Matt Murdock, use your echolocation on the mirror and look back. Maybe that's the problem with Matt. Maybe because Matt can't actually see into a mirror. Maybe that's why his self-reflection is all messed up.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I can't disagree with that, because he is brutal. Brutal. I think it's true. That's a valid hot take. That's valid, because he is brutal. I think for me, I think the thing that separated the two was just the unwillingness to take life on Daredevil's. Not that he doesn't take life, but the unwillingness to. And then for Punisher, his blanket, take them all out.
Yep.
Kind of approach.
And he's like, no, they signed up for this. They should die. And it's like, oh, alrighty then.
John's comment. That's funny.
That you know what? Now that one I will co-sign on this. I will co-sign on the underlying sexual tension. Absolutely.
Dee and Punisher go to the same church.
That would be fantastic. I would like to see who else goes to Matt's church. I think that would be really interesting. You know, because technically, kind of, sort of ish, I vaguely recall that his foster home was also Jessica Jones' foster home or something like that.
Wait, I thought he went to the orphanage with the nuns.
Right. Well, you know what I meant. I think they had the same orphanage at one point.
Did they really? I didn't know about that. I see, but I don't know much about Jessica Jones.
I cannot recall if that is something that was a footnote in the Netflix series or if that is pulled from the comics. I do not recall.
That's like such a deep. That had to come from the well, because she's a newer character, so I could absolutely see them. Because it wouldn't really take even a retcon for him. It would just be something that they kind of insert that maybe she knows, but he doesn't, or something. I don't know. That'd be interesting. That'd be kind of interesting if they did.
They did do that. When we see her origin story, is she missed getting bit by the spider entirely, right? She was only moments away from the same accident that gave Daredevil his powers, right? But then of course her powers come from that terrible car crash that gave her those abilities. And she, I don't know. I think in the TV series only she made a reference, you know, about like whatever, St. Catherine's or something like that. But I can't find anything. I can't find anything else to back me up on this. But yeah, rate it or hate it.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'll rate it for sure. I mean, I'll put it at I'd put it at a 3. You know, I think anytime these guys cross over in each other's books, those books tend to hold value and they tend to be a bigger thing. Again, there you go. I would never. Again, but this is one of those books I would not grade or buy a graded copy because I just don't think it's a big enough deal to do that. But I mean, yeah, if you're a run builder, then yeah, it's one that you have to get at some point to complete a Daredevil run. And this is the kind of the time frame, the era of Daredevil that like is my jam. Is my thing. Now I wasn't a big Daredevil guy, but this is the era above all that I because it's the same era as like Punisher coming into his own and then so much more, like the 70s and 80s. It being a big time for comics.
I'm going to agree. And I would say, and again, it's a great book. I'm actually going to give it a 4. I feel like Daredevil 257, Punisher number 10, Daredevil 183, and I know there's another one that I'm forgetting, but I think they're all quite pivotal. And it builds it is the absolute foundation for what these characters' future relationship will always be like whenever they encounter each other. Imagine this cover being redone in the current Miller art style. Yikes. Yeah, it would be absolute nightmare fuel.
So here's the deal. So CLZ Comics does say that this is the first battle of Daredevil versus the Punisher.
Yeah.
So CLZ says it, but I don't know if Nick has it that way on Key Collector. Because sometimes they vary. I tend to go by CLZ more so because I feel like their database is a little bit more robust because they've got every book in it, and it's been a pretty good. Let me see. Hang on. So this is 183. So Oh yeah, no, it is. Yeah, both databases say it's the first battle of Daredevil versus the Punisher. I didn't know, but so yeah, then this is absolutely at least a 4 on the rate it.
Yeah. I'm definitely giving it.
Okay. So this is what it is. This is the difference. So 183 is considered the first battle between the two.
Yep.
But then Daredevil number 184 is considered the first team up of the Punisher and Daredevil, and that's the Daredevil cover with him holding the 357 Magnum, like aiming it at the Okay. So that's what it is. I wonder if if 183 is when they first met, because sometimes it's not. No, 182 was the aftermath of the death of Elektra. Okay. Yeah. I mean, this is definitely a 4. I mean, it's a good book to have.
No, a solid book. Hey, that 184 is solid to have as well. All right, we're gonna get real crazy at number 1. At number 1 is Wakanda number 4 by Julian Shaw and Natasha Bustos. It's the second printing. It is, if I remember correctly, but I'm going to check the notes here. It is a reprinting of the first appearance of Tosin, whose cover debut, and this was his cover debut on the second printing. Imagining that this character was going to have more meaning in the future of the Black Panther franchise. Heavens to Betsy, rate it or hate it.
Oh man, I mean, I don't know. This is a tough one. So I'm a big fan of reprints that contain the original material, but in a new form, like a new later printing that people can go to read. I mean, the first appearance, the first appearance of Tosin is, I don't know, because I don't know, man, because they might decide to pull him out of a drawer later. I think right now they've kind of just set him aside, because I don't think they're using him for anything, are they? Right now.
I mean, I'm pretty sure he's around.
Yeah, but he's not like the Black Panther right now. So I don't know, man. I mean, I would give it maybe a, like, I wouldn't hate it, because I know that there's some big Black Panther fans and Wakanda fans. But I don't know, man. Well, and then Julian Shaw is super cool. But I don't know. I mean, maybe I'd rate it and just give it a 1, just because the actual first appearance of Tosin is so affordable now. I think it's like super affordable. I don't think it's like a high priced book. So in that case, I would just, because I don't know what the print count is on this book, but I would probably just rate it as a 1 and just get the original at this point. Because if it's in a raw, if you can get it for $2, then yeah, just buy it. But I mean, I guess if you're a Tosin completist, but
yeah,
I don't. Yeah,
yeah. I'm also going with, if you're a completionist, this is for you, and that's why it's going to score a 1. It's going to score a 1 for me for completionist. It's second. I mean, it was second print. I'm trying to look up anything else about the second print.
And I mean, I bet if you look up print count, this is probably a much lower print count, because some of those second and third printing books can be really pricey, especially those Marvel Now where they had the blue label.
Let me ask you something. Yeah. How would I find, from an accurate source in this day and age, what the print run on this book was?
If they have it, I think it's called like Cron. There is a website that does print counts for comic books that shows them. I can't remember what it is. Cron, it was something like CHRON, but it was something like that. But that's like that's our city newspapers thing. See, now I'm wondering about it. It's there is a and I don't know if it's just comic books or if it's all periodicals.
I don't care.
Comicron. Comicron. Yeah, here it is. Comicron. Yeah, Comichron. Comicron. Yeah. And you can get vital statistics, archives. Yeah. So this is, Comicron is where you can get print counts from a lot of comic books. Not all, but a lot of them. And let's see, I think, they're going back to the 90s. I mean, because this is where Nick gets the numbers for Key Collector from. Like when there's a print count.
It's a whole thing. It is a whole thing.
What, the print count?
Yeah, because ever since we've broken off into Lunar and Penguin. The one of the bad things that I consider coming out of the loss of Diamond's empire is we had one source with accurate numbers, and there was no room for debate, and we didn't have to wait to hear from somebody else, right?
Yeah,
and that's it. Like for instance, I did not discover that the print run for Dork #1 was just 25,000 copies. Until I saw him on Cover Price. He goes, no, there was only 25,000 copies. But no one had an actual answer. And I find that annoying. And I'm not gonna get into that because we're having a good time. So thank you for playing Rate It or Hate It. And now, sir, it's time for your final homework assignment.
Yes. You were on top of it with all the See, that's what I want with like stuff like Retro Reader Review and Paul's Pickups and Jen's Soapbox and all that kind of stuff, is to have those little segment titles. That's fantastic. Okay, so the assignment was to pick up 5. Yeah, go ahead.
And for StreamYard.
Yes. So my assignment was to pick up 5 books that were, and here I am. I'm still. Wait, no. Do I not have them over here? Yeah, I don't. Okay. So these are all. What I chose to pick up were all books that were they were supposed to be on one theme. I'm still grabbing books. Like I have a stack of too many of them, but I'm still grabbing.
Your choice.
I know.
If the theme is comic books that warmed my heart, that's it. If the theme is comic books that made me piss my pants, that's it. Like, I'm here for it.
Okay, yeah, okay. So what I chose was, because I'm a big fan of, like, okay, so my rule with slabbing is if the book is a raw book, has a value of 500 or more, I will go ahead and consider getting it slabbed. At $1,000 raw value or more, I absolutely get it cleaned, pressed, and slabbed. Reason being for that is because if something was ever to happen to me, my wife has specific instructions about what to do with all this, but anything I do with that is to keep it easier so that higher dollar books don't get, so it's just easier on her in case that happens. So that's kind of like, that's why. Now with signed slab books, I am starting to get, like, I'm a huge fan of raw signed books, but I've gotten to the point where I have so many of them, and there's some higher dollar ones that I need to do something with it. So I'm now starting to send in some JSA signed books. Like I have a raw signed book. Oh no, then you know what? That needs to be. Why did I not pull that book for a raw signed book? Because this one, Cliff, you're going to get a kick out of this one. All right. So the theme was raw signed books. I have a lot that are raw and signed, but are not. But a little over time, I'm going to get them graded because I just want to make sure that, again, that it's notated. So I have a stack of them. I'm just going to go fast through them. I'm a huge Blue Beetle fan. I collect the superhero or Hispanic superheroes. 3rd print of #1 from his first series, signed by co-creator Cully Hamner, is right here. And then this is 1st and 2nd print. first issue, signed by Cully. Also, let me put these right there. All right, favorite artist of all time, Jim Lee. He did a variant cover for the Batman Fortnite crossover. So it's Batman and Snake Eyes from G.I. Joe, two of my favorite comic characters, together by my favorite artist, Jim Lee. So I had to have him sign that one.
I forgot that even existed. That's I don't care for them and like that, but that is a beautiful cover. I would get it for the cover.
It's a cover buy for sure. And I remember I saw it ahead of time, luckily, and I was able to get myself a couple copies, but I only got one signed. Okay, so also I'm a big fan of All Star Squadron, and Roy Thomas from Marvel, Legend at Marvel, came over and he created or he did the series All Star Squadron. And one of my favorite characters in there is a character called Amazing
Man. Oh my God, I was so hoping you were going to say Amazing Man. Oh, I love it.
So yeah, if you look, Roy Thomas signed it in pink paint marker right there. So I thought that was that, like when he was coming to town for a convention, I was like, I have to do that. Another one of my favorite characters is Zorro. He's the granddaddy of all Hispanic superheroes. Sean Murphy did a recent reboot called Man of the Dead. That looks very homage-y to Jim Lee. The Batman, it's very much so. And so this is a super cool one that I picked up. Big fan of Dave Dorman. Oh, and then I can't go when it comes to raw signed books. Paul, co-host on Capes and Commentary, he will get me books from time to time. This is one of the Zorro Topps books, but because I had a high grade copy in my PC already, I said, Paul, I don't want it to get mixed up, so I want you to autograph this one for me. So in typical Paul fashion, he put "To My Number One Stalker" from the Professional Paul Comics, greatest host ever.
I love it.
Dave Dorman, though, fantastic cover painter. He's done a lot of the Star Wars books. This is a raw signed copy of Crimson Empire #1, signed by Dave Dorman, which is just fantastic series because of the design work of the characters. Predator #1 got the legendary Sam De La Rosa. He has signed that one across the top there. You can see it in silver paint marker or silver reflective marker. Speaking of Batman and Too Many Robins, one possible future Robin. This is Batman Annual #5. It's the origin of Clown Killer, and it's double signed by James Tynion IV and In Hyuk Lee, the cover artist for the variant. Going back to one of my original favorites and talking about our favorite character, Tim Drake, or one of our favorite characters. This was Robin #1. This is the foil cover, and this is signed by the artist Tom Grummett.
I love
this is he's an awesome guy. And this was like an embossed foil cover, so it's a really nice cover. And then second to last, this is another big one. So this was DC Comics Presents #26. This is a mid-grade copy at best that I've had for my entire adult collecting time. It's now triple signed, and two of the people that signed it are no longer with us. So it has George Perez, Jim Starlin, and then at the bottom, Jose Delbo, who didn't work on the main story, but he worked on one of the small backup stories. So this has all three artists, the preview and the backup story. All three main artists have signed it. Now I just need to find Marv Wolfman to have him sign it, and it'll actually be a fully complete one. Now this last one, this is the Demon #1. Remember I told you about how
I love that Jack Kirby goodness.
Now here's the deal, though. This is one of those happy accident things. This is currently the most valuable raw signed book I have. I have not sent it in yet for JSA authentication.
But he signed the interior.
Yep.
Oh, how the good old days that were so fun and innocent. You know?
Yeah.
Just sign the bottom of the splash page.
Well, yeah, I mean that's how they used to do it because that's how novelists used to do it, and I love it. I sent in a book to JSA that might come back in 9.8 that is double signed, and I'll reveal it. It's
On
like whenever it comes
later
back.
dates.
Well, or I don't know. We can do another crossover, and I'll reveal it since I'm mentioning it here. But yeah, so those are all the books from my collection that are that fit with the same theme. You can also, like back here. Well, I only have one now. One for a while, I had all these were all signed books, but I've switched them out for different. Well, no, actually, yeah, this is also Dave Dorman signed right here. This Tales of the Jedi. Such a cool cover. It's dual signed.
And it's awful how all of those are like a little bit forgotten, you know, like not entirely, but just kind of like, well, do not count as canon anymore, so off you go.
Right. Yeah. So it's So those are all just fun additions to the collection.
Well, I appreciate it. It's been a lovely time. Do you want to tell people where you're at or what you have coming up? We already know. We already know coming soon. You know, you're gonna have a whole new segment.
Yeah, no. So yeah, you can watch. If you're watching right now and you're one of Cliff's fans, make sure and go over subscribe. Like if you liked anything I had to say, go subscribe to Carlos Collects Comics here on YouTube. You can also find me on Instagram and TikTok, which I've got some of the Wednesday night content is currently being edited and repurposed to go over on TikTok. So you can find me on pretty much all the social platforms at Carlos Collects Comics. And I'd love to have you subscribe and connect and listen to more of what I got to say about this hobby that we all love.
Hobby, addiction. And don't forget the IG, which is at the bottom right now at Carlos Collects Comics. You can find me on IG at CliffNY and everywhere else at Cliff on Comics because I fought really hard to keep this CliffNY, and now I have trouble letting go of it. But everything else I changed to at Cliff on Comics. Carlos,
right.
It's been a wonderful crossover event. Look, Wolverado approves. Thank you so much for joining today. Everyone else, thank you for watching. Make sure you've hit the like button. Make sure you've subscribed to both of us. And, hey, if you want in on the Black Catwoman giveaway, be a member this month. And hopefully the final prize will be in my hands on Monday and I can do something. Looking forward to the next one. See, we're going to have to do this. We should do it every 3 months?
Yeah, that'd be awesome. That'd be a lot of fun.
We'll do a quarterly crossover and review. It'll be great.
That'd be fun. That'd be fun. I'm down.
From Carlos and myself, remember, read your comics, and I love you. Take